A monk named Huaihai asked, I come seeking the Buddha Dharma, the truth. The master, Mazu, or Baso in Japanese, responded, ignoring your own treasure, why do you leave home and wander about? Here, I don't have a single thing. What kind of Buddha Dharma are you looking for? The monk bowed and asked, what is my own treasure? Baso responded, the one right now asking, that is your treasure. Perfectly complete, it lacks nothing. Use it freely. Why seek elsewhere? With this, the monk awakened. I trust you can see from this typical early Chinese Zen mondo, or exchange, what practice is, what the great doubt is, and what awakening is. Again, the monk asked about the Buddha Dharma, the living truth, what a monk or a dedicated layperson or nun is dedicating their life to. Then the master responds, ignoring your own treasure, the precious treasure, diamond, the precious treasure of your house. Ignoring your own treasure, why do you leave home and wander about? Why bother to come here? Maybe the Buddha Dharma is here? Again, the master continues, here I don't have a single thing. Nothing I can give you. What kind of Buddha Dharma are you looking for? Well, now the monk who has already done some practice finds this great doubt naturally arising through the inquiry, the challenge of the master. And so the monk respectfully asks, my own treasure? What is my own treasure? Then the master is ready and can hammer it home, as we say. The one right now asking, you, that is your treasure. Perfectly complete, it lacks nothing. Use it freely. Why seek elsewhere? With that, the monk awakened. A technical point, in the text it says, that monk then spent the next 6 years assisting the teacher. He didn't just go out and put up a sign, make himself a master. This is at least as important as the exchange itself. I trust you can see. It's all right there. It's all right there. It's all right here. The treasure that you are so desperately seeking for. Who is the one that is looking? Once see through that, and the seeking ends. I didn't want to introduce these kinds of mondo dharma exchanges in the earlier dharma talks because they can be so easily misunderstood. We see it in the pop Zen circles all the time. But I trust you are now ready to see what is behind this exchange, so to speak. And in a sense, you can be that monk asking that question, genuinely stuck. My treasure? I don't have any treasure. I'm a worthless, confused layperson who can't even sit still. There is your treasure. And I trust you can see you are also the master. You must be the master. If you seek the master outside, you're lost. If you seek the master inside, you're also lost. I'll give one more exchange to make it even clearer. There are two masters in this next exchange. They're basically the progenitors, the ones who developed what is called Soto Zen and Rinzai Zen. The second one, who was the kind of originator, you might say, of what is now called Rinzai Zen, is Baso or Mazu, the same guy that was the master in this first exchange. The monk, in this case, Yao Shan, or in Japanese, Yakusan, a learned and experienced monk, he asks this question, quote, I have learned something of the vast Buddhist teachings and have also heard of direct pointing to the heart of the matter, seeing the true nature and awakening. I do not yet understand that. Would you kindly teach me? This first master, Shito or Sekito in Japanese, very important in early Soto Zen, he responded like this. This way will not do. Any other way will not do either. Nothing will do. Now, what do you do? The monk didn't have a clue. So the master Sekito said, your karmic affinity is not with me. We don't have a karmic connection. Go to the great master Ma. Ma is Mazu or Baso. By way of background, these two masters, Sekito and Baso in Japanese pronunciation, they lived on mountains not too far from each other. And often one would send a monk or a nun or a lay person to the others. This is a good example of it, right? He said, hey, it's not working here. Not working here, sweetheart. Go to Mazu. In English, in America, we call this bad cop, good cop. You know this in German? Yeah. Okay, So of course, the monk dutifully, respectfully goes to the other master, Baso, and asks the exact same question. This is a set formula. It's kind of protocol or etiquette. You don't just go and what people do and what, I've been thinking last night I had this. No, there are set questions. They may seem formal, but when they become your question, then you ask it. But it's often a set question. What is the meaning of Bodhidharma coming from the West? This became a set way of asking, what is this Zen thing? What is the truth? And in China, especially at this time, it was very natural to use these set phrases. So you can see that's what the monk did. I have learned something of the vast Buddhist teachings. He's explaining, so the master knows, that he has already studied the Buddhist teachings, but he's also being very humble. I know a little bit. I have also heard about direct pointing to the heart of the matter, seeing the true nature and awakening. These are two lines that are supposedly a formulation, a statement of the essential Zen teachings, supposedly by Bodhidharma himself. So about a few hundred years before this, he had already said this. Not relying on words and letters. a separate transmission apart from the teaching. Then the third and the fourth lines are this: directly pointing to the heart of the matter, seeing the true nature and awakening. Well, at this time when this monk was asking, this was still a radical new teaching. Chinese Buddhism wasn't yet Chinese, it was still Indian, and there were many, many complex, delicate analyses, very, very precise, and it was very difficult for the Chinese to understand. So one way that it developed in China was to say, well, we just directly point to the heart of the matter. We're not going to go around and around with 76 different analyses, the 6 senses in the past, the present, and the future. It goes on and on. Yeah. So directly pointing to the heart of the matter, seeing the true nature and awakening. Boom. What's called the direct teaching of Zen. And the monk admits, I don't understand that. Buddhist tea, I've read the Buddha, but this Zen stuff, it's too direct, too radical. But he's being quite honest, and he says, I don't get it. Please, Master, could you teach me? Sekito's response was, in effect, to pull the rug right out of him. Whatever you do will not do. Now what? You want to get down to it? You don't want to beat around the bush endlessly? Okay, nothing will do. What do you do? Well, the monk couldn't get it. So Sekito sent him to Baso, to the other master. And of course, when he arrived at Baso's place, he asked the same question, as etiquette protocol would have it. It doesn't mention it in the text, but I would suggest that the monk must have explained to Baso where he had come from. This is also part of etiquette or protocol. The master will say, where have you come from? I came from Sekito. Oh, what did Sekito say? He said, nothing will do. What do you do? I didn't have a clue. But he told me to come here and ask you. This is the background that needs to be seen. But again, the question is the same. He asks the same question, okay? How does Baso respond? Baso says, as for me, sometimes I raise my eyebrows and blink my eyes. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And with that, the monk awakened. The monk awakened and then said, when I was with Sekito, it was like a mosquito, a little bug, a mosquito trying to bite an iron ox. Completely impossible. Baso is considered the beginning of the real Zen tradition. He's the one who would shout, would yell, would even strike the monks, kick them and knock them over. Talk about direct pointing. He wasn't, in the sutras it says, no, he would actually do anything to help the monk or the nun or the layperson awaken. That's why to this day he's considered the typical Zen guy. This is a generation before Lin-Chi or Rinzai, who of course by then it was almost formalized then, yelling this ha or something like that. But here he's rather gentle. And again, I would suggest it's because he knew what Sekito had said. Sekito had already roused the great doubt of the monk by pulling everything away. Nothing will do. Nothing will do. Now what? This is the place where Baso could put his fishhook, and catch him. But it was completely the opposite on the surface of what Sekito had said. I do this sometimes I do that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The negative, taking away everything, has become completely positive in the simplest little actions. Yeah, there it is, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have read commentaries on this famous exchange in Chinese and Japanese, and sometimes the scholar, not really a monk, but a scholar monk, will say, it's clear from this very famous exchange that Sekito, the first master who said nothing will do, he was not successful. He was not as good, as enlightened as the second master, Baso, who could enlighten the monk. This is sheer nonsense. This completely misses the point. You can only say that if you haven't seen what is actually going on. Sekito, the bad cop, set the stage, helped the monk to arouse the great doubt by taking every method away, every way away. Without that, I doubt very much that when he went to Baso, whatever Baso said, it wouldn't have resulted in his awakening. You have to see, these guys are working off of each other. You have to see the dynamic between the two. It's not that Sekito failed and Baso succeeded. You have to see what Sekito did so that Baso could do what he did. This is the way reality works. Here it is freely working between these two deeply awakened masters, doing anything they can, even sending one to the other to help them see through. If you have the eye, you can see in both of these exchanges, the first one about the treasure, and the second one about nothing will do. You can see the whole process of practice. The monk has laid the foundation through practice, through study, and eventually he got stuck. He couldn't break through. And then through the adroit, the very careful and appropriate for the moment, working of the master, to be able to help that monk break through his great doubt. It's all right there. I can't help, since this is Germany, think of Meister Eckhart, who is most appropriate here. Because he says, when you seek for a way, remember what Sekito said, Take this way, you won't get there. Take that way, you won't get there. Anyway, it won't do. Now what? He's taken away every path. Well, your own Meister Eckhart says, when you seek for a way, a method, for example, to reach God. When you seek for a way, you find ways, but not God, not reality, who in ways is hidden. Be careful. It doesn't mean those ways and those methods are unimportant. You don't need them. No. You don't use them to get there because you can't. You don't need to get there. You just need to realize where you are here. That's what the practice is for. So again, it's not saying practice doesn't matter. What the hell are we sitting 10 hours a day for? No, the practice, the methods, the ways are very important. By all means, master them, perfect them, refine them. But to truly do that is to do it with no intention to get somewhere else. If it is, you are defiling, as the technical term, you are defiling the practice. To put it bluntly, you are not practicing, you are escaping from the practice. Take to heart what these monks and masters are saying in these exchanges, responding at the moment to the situation, to help each other awaken to this, not something over there, to this, so that you can once and for all put an end to seeking. Put an end to seeking itself. Let me be as blunt as I can. To realize this treasure, you all understand a treasure? A treasure chest, a precious treasure like diamonds. The treasure is underfoot or in your hand. It is your hand, your arm, your body, your mind, the whole universe. What are you seeking? Being without self finds itself in everything. Is that clear enough? I gave that quote the other day about Zazen really is the Dharma gate of ease and joy. I trust you have seen what a bunch of Zenistic bullshit propaganda that is. And also what profound truth it contains. If the great doubt is still difficult to grasp, I'll give one more quote. This from a Japanese Zen master who lived about 400 years ago, 100 years or so before Hakuin, the great Zen reformer. A monk is asking, men of old said that great doubt leads to great awakening. Why don't you take up this great doubt in your teaching? The master, Bankei is his name, Bankei, says, long ago when Nangaku went to the sixth patriarch and was asked, who has come? Nangaku was completely lost. His doubt lasted 8 long years. Finally, he could answer, even to speak of it as this misses the mark. Now that's great doubt and great awakening. Suppose you lost your only surplice or kesa and couldn't find it anywhere. You wouldn't help but search and search without let up, without stopping. That's real doubt. People nowadays say they need to have doubt because people in the past did. So you create a doubt. But that's merely an imitation of a doubt, not real doubt. So the day never comes when you arrive at a real resolution, actually awaken. It's as if you were to go off looking for something you hadn't really lost, pretending you had. Once again, the monk begins by asking Bankei, you don't talk about this great doubt. Why not? You don't like it? You think it's a problem? He needs to make it clear, All the other masters are talking about it. Even saying, you have to have the great doubt to have great awakening. Some of the quotes I've given. Bankei's response, long ago when Nangaku went to the sixth patriarch, okay? So this is early Chinese Zen, the sixth patriarch of Chinese Zen. There was a monk who came from Mount Song, from training for a while, and he came to the place where the sixth patriarch is. As I mentioned, protocol or etiquette requires a certain set of questions and answers. For example, where have you come from? I have come from Mount Song. How long did you practice there? Who was your master? How many monks were there? Something like this. But in this case, the sixth patriarch, after asking, where did you come from? The monk said, from Mount Song, one of the Buddhist centers. Instead of asking one of those typical questions, he instead said, who is it that has come? Who is this one that has come? And as it said, it took him 8 years to resolve that question. And as, again, Bankei, the master, explaining this, is not denying great doubt and great awakening. He's trying to show what it really is. So he says, now that's great doubt and great awakening. He gives another example. Remember, the person who asked was a monk or a priest. So he was probably wearing at that time what's called a surplice, or a kesa in Japanese. It shows that you're a priest. On the back of it, often the master or the priest who gave it to you, maybe he ordained you as a monk or a priest, has written maybe your name as a monk, maybe a little laudatory verse or something like that. So this is, in a sense, especially hundreds of years ago, this showed that you were a priest. So it was a very valuable thing. And he's saying, suppose you lost that, your only one. Would you say, maybe I'll look for it tomorrow? No, you wouldn't have a moment's rest until it was in your hands again. You would look around frantically. And again, he says, now that's great doubt. It's immediate. It's not an idea, a possibility. It's urgent. It must be resolved. And then the final statement that Bankei gives really brings it home. Now he's responding most directly to that monk, saying, oh, people nowadays, like you, say they need to have doubt because people in the past did. It's written in the records over and over again. Right? So you cultivate a doubt, artificially try and create some doubt. Again, Bankei continues, but that's merely an imitation of a doubt, not real doubt. So, here's the point. The day never comes when you arrive at a real resolution. You don't actually awaken. It's as if you were to go off looking for something you hadn't really lost, pretending you had. You must see this in light of the earlier Mondo exchange about the treasure. Is it in your hand or not? Is it? Is it? If it's not, you've got to make it clear. Simply thinking about it is not going to put it there. Bankei has given really precious direction here. Again, not to deny, but to show what the real doubt is. Consider well.